Welcome back to our Bluesy Water channel. Today I'd like to do a video reviewing our brain tech chart. We created a chart with different technologies for the brain, and we also have a playlist that we created, so I'd like to go over that playlist also. So we're going to start off going over our tools chart, and we'll do that briefly, and then we'll move on to the brain technology chart and then the playlist. Just in general, there are many issues, obviously, that people suffer with in terms of the brain, from traumatic brain injury to psychological issues, insomnia, neurological issues. So, brain's very complex, and there are a lot of issues we're going to cover in the next few minutes that you should be aware of that affect the brain. So we're going to get into our tools chart to start. Alrighty, thanks. Okay, so this is our tools chart. So just briefly, in terms of what affects the brain, we have 5 major categories here that we address, and these are the technologies, the major technologies that we recommend on the left. So first of all, environmental toxins, pretty obvious. Heavy metals, chemicals, like things like mercury, aluminum can affect the brain, chemicals, pesticides, microwave radiation, cell phones, if you hold a cell phone to your head, can definitely do damage to the brain. There's a much greater incidence of brain cancer these days due to radiation, microwave radiation exposure. So basically, one needs to be aware of these environmental toxins and learn how to offset them. Energetic structural, if you have, let's say, literally physical damage to the brain. If you have problems in the neck, the cervical spine, I do craniosacral therapy if the bones themselves actually are misaligned and not properly adjusted. You can have problems with the brain. So structural can include, obviously, nerve damage, bones, the vertebra, etc. Systemic covers pretty much all your autoimmune diseases. There's obviously various autoimmune diseases that affect the nervous system and the brain, but inflammation is a huge issue, and just right off the bat, molecular hydrogen therapy is the best therapy for any type of inflammatory issue. So we have a whole playlist on this, and please, this is one of the most vital therapies one needs to do. So systemic problems can be triggered from toxins. If you have a lot of toxins and the immune system is fighting and overworking, you can end up with an autoimmune issue. So generally, toxicity in the gut, there's something called leaky gut, can definitely affect the brain when you have pathogens in the gut, and they're causing all kinds of secretions that go into the blood and go to the brain. So it's imperative to make sure that the gut, which is called the second brain, is in a detoxified state, and very vital. Subconscious programs, if you have these incredible trauma memories going on, absolutely can just take over your brain, cause depression and all kinds of issues. So it's not just the physical therapies one also needs to work at the content of the mind itself, and the mind is vast. So we say here includes ancestral memories. Literally, we replay memories from our ancestors. It's when they're very traumatic. If you can actually imagine the trauma your ancestors have, this is actually in your DNA, it's in your body, and these memories do replay. This affects the brain tremendously. Alrighty, so this is just a brief overview of this tools chart and how each of these categories can actually impact the brain. This is the brain technology chart. I actually made this for myself just to remind myself of the various technologies one can employ when working on the brain. So I want to go over each of these technologies briefly. Photobiomodulation is near infrared light therapy. You wear a helmet over your head, and if the power of the light therapy is strong enough, it goes through the skull and gets to the brain cells. You also wear what's called an intranasal device. This goes up into the nose, and it's light, literally a flashing light, near infrared light, and it goes to the mucosal membrane, and that actually shoots right into the brain. So it's called intranasal therapy, and when we get to the videos, we'll show you which video to watch. Cranial electrotherapy stimulation, CES. CES is a therapy that essentially triggers the vagus nerve. It's a special frequency that's been proven to heal depression, anxiety, and insomnia. So it actually triggers the vagus nerve, which is a huge nerve, goes up into the brain, way down into the belly. And this, when you're able to stimulate that nerve, you create a deep, deep relaxation, and there's many healing benefits, including improvement in neurotransmitters. Excellent, excellent therapy. We'll show you the videos on that when we get to the playlist. David Delight Pro is a new device I'm evaluating. I'll be doing some videos in the near future. This includes the cranial electrotherapy stimulation, sound therapy, isochronic brainwave sound, and light, all three. So it's cranial electrotherapy stimulation, sound therapy, and light therapy rolled into one. I have a lot of different programs, and so far I've been only doing it a short time, but I do like it. So excellent for, you can Google David Delight Pro and look at some of the testimonials and videos. Pulsed electromagnetic therapy, very, very powerful therapy. You have a whole set with the system I have, which is a practitioner level system. You can dial in the frequency wherever you want, from 0.1 hertz to 15,000 hertz, and the magnetic field strength. Now, this is a pulsed electromagnetic field, and its forte is that literally, let's say I have a brain trauma, the therapy goes right through down to the center of the brain. It'll hit literally every cell in the brain, and it'll pump the cell membrane and help the cell get rid of toxins and bring in oxygen, and essentially help repair damaged cells. Very, very, very powerful therapy for damaged, broken bones. Like I had an Achilles injury, healed very quickly. And if you had, let's say, nerve damage in the brain, you would literally get the right frequency, and literally this pumps every cell, and the frequency stays the same throughout. It goes right through you. Very powerful. I call this one of the few therapies that I call is able to get literally through any damaged structure, or go into a very inflamed, damaged area and just literally hit every cell. E-Power with electroacupuncture. E-Power machine is very simply, it's like, I call it positive electrocution. It's a huge electrical field. I describe it as sitting in a cloud during a lightning storm. You don't get electrocuted, but you get this huge ionic field. And acupuncture, very powerful. I do this in my practice. Electroacupuncture. When you hit key points, you can essentially unwind a lot of blocks and actually bring up buried memories. So the meridian points are really fascinating. They both help the flow of energy, but also part of that blocked energy, as we said, is subconscious memories. And if you do this strategically, you can actually start to literally awaken old suppressed trauma memories. Very, very powerful. And this is a great combination. Biofield is a new device. It's not yet out. I'm evaluating it, from Dr. Nikishin, who makes the medical ozone. Again, this is another electrical field therapy. It's a 10-foot field, and it'll open up pathways. It saturates the body electrically and has a pumping vortex action, and essentially opens up locked pathways. And it's also amazing on pathogens. So let's say you have pathogens in your brain, you could actually knock them out with this, or even brain cancer, God forbid. This could, with other therapies, possibly, we're not going to say it's a cure, but can help with brain cancer and dementia and all kinds of issues. Very powerful saturating electrical field. These both are very strong electrical therapies. Ozone is, you can do ear insufflation and essentially pump ozone into the ears. Very healing on the brain. Again, if you have pathogens, it'll go in and start to knock out pathogens, trigger a lot of healing. And then the rectal insufflation goes systemic. So if you have a lot of pathogens in the gut, we talked about the leaky gut, this would help work systemically, knocking out the pathogens, and the brain would start to feel better when it's not receiving all these pathogens. And the nasal insufflation just would knock out, let's say, a sinus infection, which could affect the brain. HHO, breathe and drink, that's the hydrogen therapy. This is an advanced form of hydrogen therapy. It's hydrogen, oxygen, and what's called plasma water, a gaseous form of water. When you breathe this, it's profound on all inflammation. Now, just like PEMF, the hydrogen molecule is so tiny it will pass through steel. So if you have brain damage, or you're trying to get to every cell in the brain, this literally will go down to the RNA and DNA of every single cell in the body. So I like the combination of PEMF and hydrogen for healing the brain. But essentially, this is profound on inflammation, but this therapy also gives the body the necessary hydrogen molecule and the electrically expanded plasma water, give the body tremendous healing potential. Hydrogen is the building block for everything. It's the primordial element. So this is one of the most powerful therapies for literally rebuilding a damaged body. And again, knocking out inflammation. You also drink the water and it'll revive your gut flora. Nebulizer is essentially, people who have asthma know what a nebulizer is. It's a mist. It's a very fine micron-sized mist, so you can add something like a Blue Z Boost or an essential oil. It'll permeate deep into the brain, once again through the mucous membrane, just like the intranasal light therapy up here. It'll go deep into the lungs and into the sinuses. So it's a good tonic for the brain, and the Blue Z Boost has a lot of excellent healing minerals, so you can get those up in there, along with the activated oxygen that's in the Blue Z water. Magnetic therapy is just a nice tonic. You can Google that. People wear like magnetic headbands or magnetic hats, and it can just, it's kind of a nice feel-good therapy. PEMF is really the PEMF is the really advanced therapy for magnetic therapy, but people have been using magnets for many, many years. Some people really love them. You can always try it. Scalar, I'm evaluating this as what I would call a form of energy medicine. We have one other energy medicine I want to mention. This is right here, the homeopathic protocol. This is created by Dr. Lebecki. This is a way to give a homeopathic treatment to oneself using one's own energy field. However, there's also included a radiation treatment protocol, and we mentioned how powerful radiation exposure can be in doing damage to the brain. So if you do this protocol, you would include this radiation treatment, and it's a homeopathic, which is subtle energy medicine. So Scalar, you can Google spooky Scalar. This is also subtle energy medicine. I don't want to try to explain this here. I'm evaluating this. You can add various remedies to this field, which makes it interesting. Let's say some essential oils and treat the brain, let's say with calming or sedating oils such as valerian or chamomile, or more enhancing oils. I have something called Brain Boost or Clary Sage or DNA Repair. So this is this and the Lebecki method are both what's called subtle energy medicine. The vibration therapy program includes the vibration machine, the rapid release tool, and we also include something called trauma release exercises. Essentially, the brain is profoundly, as we mentioned, affected by subconscious memories, and that in turn creates great trauma. So vibration therapy, when you can get deep into the spine and vibrate the spine, this gets to very primitive memories and can release them. This is a very alchemic practice, and it includes the vibration machine, GRE exercises, and a rapid release tool to specifically treat the body. We will include a link to our trauma release program below, so you can take a look at all this. The Chi machine also targets the spine. You rock the spine. Again, limbic, think limbic nervous system. If you're going to repair the brain, you have to always be thinking about repairing the limbic nervous system. The breathing practice, this is a simple way to use a sports training mask to create CO2 reuptake. We have a blog, Breathe Like a Yogi for Dummies, so please check that out. And essentially, you can vasodilate, get the nerves to relax, open up the blood vessels, the circulation, and increase the delivery of oxygen to the cells. You optimize the hemoglobin exchange. So this is very simple, easy to do, and very powerful at getting way more oxygen into the brain, and just generally, if you have anxiety, relaxing. As we mentioned in the chart, you got to look at all the different categories. Detox is huge. You can't have pathogens, not expect the brain to be affected, and trauma release, again, we'll post links to that below this video. Alrighty, so now I'm going to get into the playlist. Okay, this is our brain playlist. I'm not going to go through all these videos. We mentioned the nebulizer, mentioned the microwave radiation exposure. So there are various videos here. This combines the hydrogen, we mentioned the ozone and the PMF and photobiomodulation. So this is just reviewing some of those technologies. So once you get into these videos, you can go into more depth. I do want to, again, the PMF and hydrogen, great cellular therapy. Just think when you watch this video, you're getting to each and every cell. And here's another one combining PMF and hydrogen. Cranial electrotherapy stimulation, I want to go down here. Okay. This talks about the cranial electrotherapy stimulation, this video down here. There's two devices, the Fisher Wallace and the CES Ultra. The CES Ultra was modeled after most of the research, the exact frequency, the exact profile they were using. I prefer this. I've tried them both. So watch this video, and then the V-Light photobiomodulation. This is the intranasal light therapy along with the helmet you wear for recovering from traumatic brain injury. And also up here, this is another helmet device that Dr. Joe Dudoro has. It's a stronger helmet. I actually use this and then the intranasal from the V-Light. Consciousness work, always imperative. We talk a lot about Ho'oponopono teachings, and we have a consciousness playlist. So show you that. Here's our consciousness playlist. Please take a look at this. This is our most popular video. Again, this is part of our trauma release program. We'll post links below. Here's the breathing mask video. So pretty much what we went over on that tech chart is covered in these videos. And again, protecting the brain from EMF. So this is some stuff you can buy, things you can wear. Mentioned the Chi machine. It's a great video to show you how it works. So anyhow, take a look at all these videos. Please, we'll send you, I'm going to probably hyperlink some of these to make it easier, but we'll post a link to this below, and to our tools chart and to our brain playlist. Okay, so we'll put links below for our playlist and our brain tech chart, and then our overall tools chart. If you have any questions, please contact me, Andrew@blueseawater.com. Thank you.